What's going on, y'all? I'm out here in the shop working on these Fox bodies, and in this episode today, I'm going to try to get my underhood air temps and my air intake temperatures down on my turbo car right here. Now, the reason that's important is because if your air intake temperatures get too hot, you need to start pulling timing so your car won't detonate. And even a factory computer does that at a certain point. I'm wanting to say it's 150 or 160 degrees. I can't remember the exact temperature, but even the factory computer will start pulling timing. Now, most of the cars I deal with have Holley terminators on them, and there is a setting in there where you can go in and adjust your timing based on air intake temps. And the reason that I started thinking about this was because the other day I was driving my turbo car right here, and I was cruising down the highway at 65 miles an hour. It was 85 degrees outside, but my MATs were 125. So that's 40 degrees over ambient. And in my opinion, that is way too hot. I like to try to keep temperatures in the 10 to 20 degrees over ambient. 30 is not terrible, but anything over that, in my opinion, is excessive. And I kind of know what's going on. It's got a turbo on it, and I know the turbo's heating everything up under the hood, and the back of my cowl is not open, it's enclosed. So all the heat's just staying in the engine compartment. So what I'm gonna do in this episode is I'm gonna cut the back of that cowl out, then I'm gonna go drive the car, and we're gonna see how it affects those air intake temperatures. But guys, I've rambled on long enough, so let me shut up and let's start hacking on this hood. This is a 306 out of a Mustang that's going in the 66, but I'm going to use this as an example for the factory computer guys to show y'all what we did way back when to fool the stock ECU into not pulling timing due to excessive air intake temps. So that's your sensor right there. And what we would do is we would pull this out and plug the hole. Then we would extend the wiring and we would move the sensor over into usually the elbow or somewhere in the air intake tract. And if you did that, or if you do that, you are almost guaranteed that timing will never be pulled by the stock computer due to excessive air intake temps. And that's really important, especially in a blower or a turbo application, because this area right here, it heat soaks terribly anyway. And then when you get a blower or a turbo on top of it, I can almost guarantee you that it's pulling timing. But on the Terminator stuff, Holley Terminator, you can pretty much put your MAT sensor anywhere you want. And I still say it needs to be in the air intake tract somewhere, even though on my setup, it's right here in the elbow. And that is my only problem with this elbow, is it makes you lazy, guys, because that is a perfect spot. The hole is already there. All you've got to do is put the sensor in it. And I know it's heat soaking a little bit, but the phenolic spacer is helping. So at some point I will change that just to follow my own advice. I just got to quit being lazy. Got some assorted tools out here because I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to attack this yet, but this is the part that I'm going to be cutting out of here. I think I'm just going to follow this line down, come across the bottom, come back up at this line, over around to the inside, and just take out this whole huge chunk right here so that hot air will have somewhere to go. What I've decided to do before I start cutting is I'm actually going to drill some pretty decent sized holes straight in here on both sides, just so I can see what I'm working with, because I definitely do not want to go through the hood and put a hole in my hood. Definitely have room in here to go ahead with my plan. that turned out better than I thought it would actually. This is 2 pieces of fiberglass that are molded together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to get this lip down lower to the hood surface, and then I'm going to do the same thing at the back. I knew I was going to lose a little structural integrity when I cut this big piece out, so I went and got some epoxy for fiberglass, and I bonded this part of the hood to the top part, hopefully to help a little bit with that. And then this piece is still bonded, and the hood seems fairly sturdy even though all this is gone. And I'm pretty sure that once I get it bolted on, everything will be fine, but only time will tell. It's a very similar day to what it was the other day when I noticed my car's temps getting considerably higher than the 408 car. The other day it was 85. Today it's about 81, 82. So very similar setup. So we're about to get this thing out and see if my hard work paid off. The other thing that I was concerned about was the structural integrity of the hood. And now that I've got it mounted, it doesn't flex much at all. So I really don't think that's going to be an issue at all. But guys, let's get this thing out, cruise it a little bit, and beat on it a little bit. It is really letting the hot air out from under that hood. My MATs now are running at about 100. Don't know if you can see that or not. That's something I can live with. Now that I've got my MATs down, I feel a lot better about it. I just wanted to see if I could feel any heat coming out after that drive. Oh yes, it is really coming out. So that's a good thing. That is letting that underhood heat escape, and that is absolutely why my MATs are down. Now, if I would just get off my rear end and move my sensor into the air intake, it would probably drop it another 5-10 degrees. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. So hopefully this video explained how and why it's important to get rid of that underhood heat and to keep your air intake temps down. And that's really the purpose of a cowl hood. Not only clearance, but the opening at the back to give that hot air somewhere to go. Don't know if you'd be willing to do to your enclosed cowl hood what I did to mine, but if you do, just take your time, make small cuts, and be careful, because if you go through the top side of your hood, you are going to run into a whole new set of issues. So guys, be careful if you try it. Next video, not sure what it's going to be. I really need to get the 8.8 in the 66, so that might be it. I have to build that 8.8, so might do that. Not sure. I'm wrapping up the 408. There will be a video on that car once it's done. I'm putting a speedometer gear in it right now, of all things. It's tuned, it's done, it's ready to roll. Might do a video on the little burgundy car back there, because that is one of the stockest cars that I have worked on in 20 or 25 years. But guys, I appreciate you watching. If you would, hit the like, subscribe button, would be appreciated. But as always, I'm busy, so I'm out.